The right balance. Well, that's one way to put what Ubisoft is doing, I guess, if you're shilling. But we know that Assassin's Creed Shadows is going to be a complete train wreck. From every step of the way, the Black Samurai concept, the LGBTQ plus romances, the fact that they took shortcuts and pasted in places from China as ancient Japan. There's big trouble coming for this game. And it's actually seems to be a lot worse than we think. Now, Star Wars Outlaws just came out this week, and it's been a tremendous failure from what I've seen so far. Lackluster reviews. People who pre-ordered the Gold Edition and got the early access to the game getting screwed out of $130 with a patch update because the game's so buggy on launch. Ubisoft, despite spending years and hundreds of millions of dollars developing and marketing this stuff, seems to just be dropping the ball. It's complete incompetency, and it really comes from the heart of Ubisoft itself. I've spoken with employees and former employees at the company, and the DEI agenda there is full force. They're forced to take classes. They're forced to take. They're sent emails reminding them about pronouns and things like that on nearly a daily basis. Ubisoft is a company that has been completely infested with the woke mind virus. And Assassin's Creed, it probably took 4 years to develop at this level because they weren't working half the time. They're too busy trying to figure out the next steps for diversity and inclusivity. So that's the balance they're going for. And that's not the balance you'd expect from a traditional Japanese standpoint. It's absolutely a train wreck. And Stuttering Craig has some new from Side Scrollers has some new info that shows that this is maybe going the way of Concord. We could see in just a moment. My name's John Delarose, everybody, and I am a #1 best-selling comic creator and content creator, and I would love for you to come check out my Hidden Emperor graphic novel on Kickstarter right now. This is an excellent science fiction comic. We are crushing it. It's our second best comic selling comic of all time. And we have 18 days to go. So it's going to be our first pretty shortly. You can help us get there. It's in the description below. Support our channel and support our artistic efforts. We really appreciate you for being here. Okay, let's take a look at this. When they're going through doing damage control on the on just like, we worked 4 years on this. It's a perfect amount of time to make a game. We worked so hard. Now, remember, they have been called out for all their lazy corner cutting. They've been called out by Japanese gamers who have put out a petition to actually get this game canceled and say that they should just rework it from scratch without a Black Samurai in it. They went out in the beginning and said this is like completely historically accurate, even though Yasuke was proven pretty much never to be a samurai, and the guy whose work they based it on was debunked. That guy actually came out and said he never worked with Ubisoft, despite him being featured on an Ubisoft video. So it's just been filled with lies towards fans, lies upon lies. It just seems like nobody's at the wheel on this game, and nobody's been working on it, despite the fact that they say they've been working on it for 4 years. Now, when the Japanese gamers flipped out, more happened. It turns out they stole a banner from a Japanese reenactment group also, and threw it in the background of one of their games without permission. They had to apologize for that. They issued another apology on their Twitter, going off on just like how much they respect Japanese games, and then they tried to shift the narrative to, this is historical fiction. It's all about taking liberties, and it's meant to inspire people to look into things for themselves. When they said it was accurate the whole way through, and they launched on that whole deal. So it's been a PR train wreck for the AAA franchise. Well, their apologies didn't work, and they just pissed off gamers even further because it was a clear 180 from everything they'd been saying so far. And if you look at this article here, it again is the same 180 again. The developer says it's always a balance between time and cost, but the more time you have, the more you can iterate. Yes, you can put more people on a project and do it in a shorter time, but that doesn't give you more time to iterate because it takes time to get feedback from your players, your team, and then see what works and what doesn't and how to improve it. And then this seems to be the one thing that they're really not doing. They're not taking the player, the gamer feedback saying we hate this and doing anything about it because they're just stuck on this agenda. They are intent on pushing the DEI 100%, and they're not gonna back down from it. They're just gonna double down until this fails. 4 years, I think, is the right balance to go from conception to production, get the feedback necessary to adapt. And here's where they kind of lie again. On making Shadows an authentic experience. He said it was a very long process, and they took pride in it for their black samurai. When we build a Japanese house from feudal Japan, it's very different from, say, a French medieval house or an English one. So you have to learn as artists where things go inside a feudal Japanese house, and maybe the food doesn't go there. You have to get everything you need to know and learn from it. That process is long. It's not feudal Japan, obviously, but it is good to go on site because I think it is only then we realize that it's very different to what we think it is. It's very interesting because when the team went there, one of the things that jumped out was the forests, how they were. We had to make some forests based on Greece landscape for Odyssey, but when we went, we noticed it was very different to what we'd done. We had to change it. You don't necessarily find that stuff when doing historical research. Now, it's really odd because, again, the Japanese gamers who have seen all their, quote, research and what they've done so far have pointed out the flaws in it and pointed out that they took cut corners and were lazy. So I think these guys just took a Japanese vacation on the company. It didn't actually do any work based on it. That's what it sounds like to me. Ubisoft, if you want to pay me to go to Japan, my schedule is open. I will happily do so on behalf of you. He says these are some of the small things that are very important because you get a better sense of dimensions of the building, the culture, the monuments, the shrines that are still standing today. It's important to represent all that correctly. It is, and they didn't, and that's what a lot of the contention is. Like I said, there's over 100,000 signatures from Japanese gamers to cancel this game because it's such a travesty. We saw some gameplay footage where the Black Samurai is cutting off Japanese heads, whirlwinding around to hip-hop music. It's insulting, to say the least, to everybody in the process. These people are just, unbelievable. But that's what wokeism is the entire way around. And they are putting the biggest marketing expenditure ever onto this game. Here's a wild one. AEW's Will Ospreay is going to be doing an Assassin's Creed Shadows entrance at All In 2024. Now, this is sponsored. They don't just do this for the hell of it. They don't just do it because they love it. They're not doing it just because they want to tie into gaming. Ubisoft made Ospreay an official ambassador for the game, and that comes with a huge cost of something that's of this magnitude that's going to be on TV with a lot of people, as you might be well aware. Crazy stuff. But the thing is, it's not working, and let's get into Stuttering Craig's analysis of exactly what's going on, because this is wild information from the Side Scrollers podcast guy. So he says, my insider told me that as of this morning, and that's today, that their nationwide big box chain, Assassin's Creed Shadow, has less than 800 pre-orders combined for Xbox and PS5 company-wide. They have 900 stores. That's less than one pre-order per store. Yikes. That's really, really, really bad. Less than one pre-order per store of a game of this magnitude is so huge. Now, for comparison, he has an insider who works for the high-traffic game stores. He said a couple of days ago they have 27 stores in that area and have a total of 41 pre-orders for Star Wars Outlaws. 41. So that one's a little more than one per store, but that's one per store versus less than one per store. There's no hype for that game, so that might be selling a little bit better. But if you look at this, a massive amount of keys went out to streamers yesterday. So they're giving a bunch of keys out, trying to generate hype for this game. They're trying to bribe people. They bribed a bunch of people with Disneyland trips and the like to give good reviews for it, and that's what's going on. Cabrutus, who made the Sweet Baby Inc. Detected and now DEI Detected, says the Ubi flop is real. That is a absolute truth here. I mean, this level of sales is crazy. Somebody else says, if Assassin's Creed fails, it will send waves through the industry. So far, it's been the new DEI IPs that have failed mainly: Suicide Squad, Conquered, Dustborn, Zao, etc. But if an established IP falls, it will show without a doubt who the gaming audience really is. And this is very, very true, because this has been something that's gone on a long, long time. And with this, we've seen the destruction of so many video games. But this is part of the DEI agenda as well. I mean, the Assassin's Creed especially is a big DEI overload, and that's why people are rejecting it. That's why people are not excited about it. And this is something that it might go the way of Concord. I mean, with 800 pre-orders, that's about the level of players we were seeing on Steam for Concord. That's not good for this game that needs to make a lot of money to break even, because they're spending so much on this on every single level. Ubisoft really is riding on this. Now, when this fails, and it's going to because we already know from the pre-orders, Ubisoft's going to have to undergo massive cuts. A lot of these people are going to be out of the game, and it's going to be better. It's going to take 2 or 3 years to flatten the curve. All you have to do is just not buy this game. Don't buy Star Wars Outlaws, and these people will get the message. All right. Leave a comment down below with what you think about this. Hit the like and subscribe button. And if you would like an alternative, get the Hidden Emperor graphic novel today.